If your home is functional, say you live in it, but there's things that need maintenance like plumbing, maybe electrical fixtures, different appliances and things, but everything still works, that's one category of as is, and you really have options. Your choices here will depend on how much cash you have on hand available to do repairs or upgrades to enhance the sale of your home. Then there's the more serious type of as is. You may have a home where the systems or some systems don't even work, or your roof might be damaged and you don't have the funds to repair it. That's understandable. It could be a plumbing failure or electrical issue or a foundation issue. If you're in the country, it could be a well or a septic issue. Hey, life happens and it's okay. I want to take the stress out of this for you. If you just have no available funds, you can sell your home totally as is, and that's just fine. Next is the one big question you need to ask your realtor. But before I do, if you've decided to sell your home, but you have no idea where to start, in the description below this video, there's a document, and it's called 8 Tips to Take the Stress Out of Selling Your Home. It's my gift to you. It'll get you on the right track. All right. In order to find out which as-is category you're in, you need to ask your realtor this one big question. If I don't do any repairs on my house, how will that affect a buyer's ability to get a mortgage loan on my home? The answer to this question is crucial, and here's why. If the condition of your house meets the underwriting requirements of mortgage lenders, then you just opened your house up to the biggest pool of buyers. However, if your house condition would be rejected by mortgage lenders, then truly your house is only opened up to investors or cash purchasers. That's a much smaller buyer pool. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to have realistic expectations when you begin to market. If an investor is going to buy your home knowing they're going to have to put more money into it, then obviously they're going to desire to buy that house at a discount. Your realtor should be researching market data for you and giving you a true concept of what a realistic as-is list price is for investors or cash purchasers. Well, now you know the dividing line, and that line is whether a purchaser can get a mortgage loan on your property or not. And if not, the pool of buyers will be somewhat limited and the property will sell at a discount. But at the end of the day, if there's any way to get your property up to the standards that mortgage lenders would accept, that is the way to get you the highest and best price. Here's how it works. Once under contract, if the buyers need mortgage financing, the lender will order an appraisal of the property. The appraiser is the lender's eyes, ears, and boots on the ground for that property. The appraiser will complete a report and then send that report back to the lender, giving their assessment of condition and value. As long as they make no adverse comments as far as the condition of the property, you're good to go. So what does an appraiser look for? Primarily, they want to find a home that is in good livable condition that is a good risk for their lender to hold a note upon. All systems need to be functional. There can't be any major visual issues like a roof leak or water standing in the basement or like open electrical circuits that you can see with wires coming out of them or torn up floor coverings. Those will not pass. An appraiser will put all of those notes on the report. If they find any safety hazards like hand railings on an outside deck that are not there, or even hand railings going down to a basement, if it doesn't exist, those safety issues will be on their report. Once again, this is where your agent comes into play. Before you list your home, your agent can go through your home with you and identify areas if there's something missing that would be causing an appraisal issue. If it's possible to do simple fixes to satisfy what you know an appraiser is going to bring forth, it is well worth it and it will bring you the best price and terms. Here's a couple real-world examples that I ran into just recently, one representing a buyer and one representing a seller. In both of these situations, I'm really not trying to point to myself to say, I'm always right. It's just, I've been studying these concepts for decades, and I want to help my clients not fall into some trap or something that's unforeseen. So I had buyer clients, and we had viewed and put under contract a home they loved. And they were using a VA or a veteran's loan. Veterans loans have a little stricter underwriting guidelines for the appraiser than standard conventional loans. I showed my buyers that there was an outside back stairwell outside of the house going down from these double sliding glass doors. And that area, it didn't have a handrail going down to the ground. I said, I believe the appraiser will require this to be fixed before funding. Sure enough, once the appraisal came in, they put on the report that a handrail would have to be put into place before they would fund the loan. In this case, it was difficult because the sellers were not willing to take care of the issue. So I went and contacted the appraiser, and I asked the question because I had seen in new constructions quite often, if you build a new construction and let's say you don't put a back deck on the house, you can, to meet building code and appraisal's requirements, you can have them construct barriers like 2x4 or 1x6 barriers across double sliding glass doors so that there's no safety issue, like folks might want to put a deck on later. So I asked that question to the appraiser, could we do something like that to make it simple? And the appraiser's answer was yes. So I met with my buyer clients and I got myself with the husband. He went over to the house with me with the permission of the sellers, and the seller's husband came out and we constructed 1x6, 3 horizontal 1x6 panels across that back door. The reason was because my buyer didn't care because he was going to put a new deck on the back after he bought the house. Once we got the job done, I took a photo, sent the photo to the appraiser, it got approved. Easy button. The second situation happened with a seller I was representing. This seller needed to have an as-is sale. When I initially looked at the house, there were a few areas of concern that would say, hey, maybe we should look for cash or investor buyers, but it was on the borderline. But my primary concern was a side stoop coming into the kitchen, which was the primary entrance into the house, and it was really, the floorboarding was deteriorated on it. This was a safety issue, and I was pretty convinced that any appraiser coming out would say, safety issue must be repaired before funding. That was my initial impression. So when we put the property on the market, I used in all of my descriptions out there for the public and for buyer's agents to know, we have concerns about the side deck, we are selling it as is, we'd like to do it generally as is, and we'd rather have an investor or cash buyer. We definitely don't want a VA or an FHA loan that have the higher standards. So we received an offer from an agent and a buyer that needed to get conventional financing. I shared with the agent my concerns. She wasn't too concerned. But at the same time, we had no better offers. So we went forward with the contract. So guess what? The appraiser comes out and does his report. Side deck has to be replaced. I don't like being right in these situations. I'd rather be wrong. Regardless, we were all that much committed to the end game, and we worked out a deal where we helped subsidize the cost a bit on the repair of that deck. And so we shared the cost of it and we moved everything forward to closing. So whether you have a home that is a complete as is and needs investors to buy it, or you have a home that you can get mortgage financing on it with a buyer, you can get to closing either way. My name is Maury, and I have helped seller clients get top dollar for their home in Charlottesville and all 7 surrounding counties since 1990. Give me a call, let's chat, and get you on a good path right away.